you're in where did I just say you were?
Tampa.
Tampa.
Better than Miami.
Do you reckon?
I go to Miami every so often, and Miami's just a lot going on there. Like, this is still crazy to a point, but like at 12 o'clock in Brickell, there's not Lambos racing against each other at 12 o'clock. It's more calm, and I get to walk around and actually be in my own thoughts.
In Tampa.
Yeah. And there's still cool skyscraper. Tampa is like Tampa and Austin, Texas, that we're going to, or I think are ranked 1 and 2 the newest cities where the most people are moving to every single day.
Tampa and where?
Austin, Texas, that we're going to.
Shit. Let me share this and then we're good to go. I think it's live. We're going to get wrapped up. You know what it is about me in Miami? I got great friends in Miami, so that obviously helps.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the people there. Like, whenever I go there, I see all my friends and stuff like that. But like, if they're all in Tampa, I think we'd all be more happy.
Yeah. Right, let's get rocking. So look, I'm with my very, very good friend Kishan. Someone who we have a lot of time for in the objection box, someone who's done really, really well, you know, a young man who wants to take on the world. I have a lot of jealousy for, I will say. He's 10 years my junior, but he's easily 10 years more advanced than I am at his age. So I'm jealous of him, but I'm also privileged to help him and privileged to see him grow and to develop into the leader that he is. You know, he's not only gone from a setter, you know, and nearly done that for over a year, like in that kind of bubble, but also now closing big deals, but also managing teams and taking rev shares of teams and, you know, coaching teams and everything else. So I'm privileged to have you, buddy. Just give us a bit of an understanding of who you are, where you're from,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else in between.
Of course. So, hi everyone. My name is Kishore Ramchandani. I'm 20 years old and I currently live in Tampa, Florida. I kind of wish I literally just moved into this apartment, but for the past year, I'd been taking calls in my fraternity house. So it was like kind of my personal brand, like taking calls in a fraternity house. But I just moved into this new apartment, which I'm blessed to be in. But just like Bill said, actually I am graduating college 2 years early this weekend actually. So I'm not doing anything with that, so I don't really care if I'm graduating or not. But I am graduating college in next week. But so this past year, really full focus on sales. Was an appointment setter for a very, very long time. Was on some okay offers, and then James, I've known James Hayes. Literally, it's crazy. This time this year, me and James Hayes and Alec were on this offer together, making no money, and now a year later, we're all doing very, very well for ourselves. But now to kind of fast forward, appointment setting coach, closing coach, closer, another closing for another software company that we're kind of intertwined. And my whole thing is like, the reason why I have a coach, obviously, Bill, is if I'm coaching people, obviously it's more beginner people. But if I'm coaching someone, I need to be leveling my skill sets as well, or else I'm just going to stay stagnant. And that means the people that we teach are stagnant as well. So that's my mindset about it.
Just to come back for a second. So those 3 people that you're talking about, yourself, Alec, and Jimmy, just to break it down. So you're making over 15 grand a month. Alec is probably in there as well, I think.
15, yeah.
Yeah, and Jimmy makes 30 grand and he works for me in a personal capacity. So just think of it that like that's how fast shit moves if you get around the right people and you do the right stuff. Like that's less than 12 months.
Yeah.
And people always, look at this and they always ask me, do you know what people ask me? The biggest issue we have right now with the amount of results, testimonials, case studies that we push out, people say to me all the time, there's no way this can be truth. There's no way that this is actually what it is. But I just tell people, just sit in the sidelines. You'll just see, you'll keep watching. You'll see the people come in. You'll see the people that aren't supposed to be in sales, make it in sales, and all of the rest in between, So give us an idea. What are you selling at the moment? Let's everybody understand that.
Yeah. So I sell more of a beginner sales program. So it's more of like, obviously Objection Box is more of like, I'm not going to show you like how to use the CRM and all this kind of stuff. This is like a place where if you're already, in my own opinion, at least, like if you're already established in the sales game, but you want to take it to a whole another level, this is where you come, right? But in terms of like on the other side of it, of like be very, very beginner friendly sales, that's what I teach. And that's what we sell too. So I get people in, but I'm also very obviously responsible for the result as well.
Yeah,
And so coach the appointment setters, coach the closers, and help with a lot in the back end stuff too, of just like fixing stuff in the course as well and the community and stuff like that. So that's
yeah.
what I really enjoy.
Makes sense. So it's kind of like you're working a 9 to 5, you want to explore online sales as a venture to replace your income.
Exactly. Even college students. Those are my favorite because I can talk to them personally.
Yeah, yeah, you speak the story, sure.
Mhm.
Why sales? Why not the college degree that you're going to get?
So I knew from a very young age, kind of going back a few years. So me and my brother, obviously only the reason why I'm in online business today. But we used to have our own business. We used to like sell autographs from famous celebrities and athletes, get their autographs and sell it. But that's
Yeah.
when I knew like we were making almost just as much as my parents. I was like, all right, that's when I knew like we were not definitely going a 9 to 5 route. I went to college personally because I was getting a scholarship, so everything was free.
Shit. What'd you get a
My
scholarship for?
Florida, so what they do, they have a thing called Bright Futures. So pretty much if you do well in the SAT, they
Yeah.
pay for your whole tuition. And
Wow.
I get financial aid as well. So like pretty much everything was free. So those 2 years of college was like, all right, I'm gonna have fun, but like let me put my head down. And so when I do get out and I am in the real world, I can pay
Yeah.
for all this stuff. And now, quote unquote, in the real world, since I am graduating, I did it, right? So I always knew that I wasn't going to go that route, but having some really, really good friends like my brother and his business partner now, they were kind of mentors for me in terms of like, all right, definitely don't start an agency, definitely don't start a business necessarily, like go all in sales, like you'll get really good at it. And at
Mm.
the same time, you can still make a crap ton of money as well.
Shit. What so you got a scholarship to go to school because you're very clever.
Yeah. I mean, not 90%. So we went to a top 50 school in the nation. So 90% of those students in those schools get the same scholarship. So I'm not
All
special.
right.
Yeah.
So mommy and daddy worked their face off for 20, 30 years for you and your brother to get a fantastic education for
I'm
the
getting my
two.
I'm getting my parents into sales actually. So it's all coming full circle.
Shit. Wow, that's interesting. What's mom and dad do?
So mom does consulting more of like I think she works with Salesforce. Like she kind of moved her jobs recently, but she teaches people like how to use Salesforce and stuff like that. And
Okay.
dad's like works at or he's a hotel manager.
Right, okay, shit. So your mum and dad slaved for fucking years upon years upon
Oh.
years to give you and your brother the most lucrative opportunity with the schooling that you got, and for you and your brother to turn around and say, you know what? I'm actually going to go the online way. And
Yeah,
your mum and dad are like, what? What do you mean all this money we've invested in you? For you
yeah,
guys to basically say, fuck it, we're going our way.
yeah.
Who wins? That's the question.
Exactly,
Who
exactly.
wins? And that's the case, It's Christian messaged me earlier on and he was like, my offer is getting shut down. And I said to him, well, it's good because it just means that you got to always protect yourself. You got to
Mhm,
do always what you're supposed to do, and that's the key.
mhm.
Yeah. Why did you pick the objection box? Because you're around people that are closing and people that are coaching people and all that kind of stuff, and good for them. Why me and why the objection box?
Mhm.
Other
This
than
is
my
actually,
handsome Irish looks and my swagger.
this is actually a very funny story. So I never even hopped on a sales call for a very big investment for a 20-year-old.
Oh, you didn't.
Yeah, I was 20 at the time, it was early this year. But so me and James Hayes were in the weeds together.
Yeah.
And we were on the same offer again after that first one, after again.
Yeah.
This offer I actually like really enjoyed, but it just didn't pan out for what it needed to be. But both struggling. He was like, dude, I mean, you know James's story, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
2K to his name, and he's like, screw it all. I'm giving it to Bill. And I was in my head, I'm like, holy crap, like this dude's a maniac. And then he changes offers, he starts making some money, he starts getting so he's like, bro, like for me too, I'm like everything's paid for. everything's fine. There was no like pressure. Like
Mm,
there's no pressure to do anything. But I feel like if you want to be successful and there's no pressure, you kind of have to make pressure for yourself, right?
right. Yeah.
So James is like, dude, if I know 100%, like you're already pretty decent what you do, but if you just put your back against the wall, but you also invest in something that's going to get you 10 times farther, you'll do well. So I actually got financial aid from my college, which is meant for my rent. So they gave me 6 grand. And so it's meant for your rent. So like it could be like it's in my head, I'm like, oh, this is a free 6 grand, but realistically it's my rent money. Um and I was like, yo, James, send me the payment link real quick. And he was like, okay. And then that's how I got here. So literally like who knows
Jesus.
if your program was good at all. I just listened to James because me and him were so close. And obviously that paid off tenfold. So
Shit.
that's why I'm here.
So
Obviously, I
you,
watched. I didn't even watch some of your free stuff to be honest. I just
wow.
trusted James that much.
Wow. Well, that's friendship. That is
Yeah.
friendship for sure. The so you basically, Uncle Sam gave you a big lump sum to invest in your future education, and you said, "Well, Bill
Yeah.
is the way that we're going to get this education, and we're
I
going
don't
to
like that education. I like this
contribute."
one better.
You're like, "I'm going to contribute back to Uncle Sam with this way because you're going to pay your tax either way.
Yeah.
So this is a much better way because you just make 10 times more. Good,
Exactly.
good for you. Well, tell me, what have you learned inside? What? Yes, the objections, and yes, that people understand what the objection box is. It's based on objections and getting really, really good and understanding the frameworks and everything else that goes with that. But what for you brought you from a 4K setter all the way up to fucking a person who takes a cut of the pie? Meaning you don't just get a commission, you get revenue share, you get stocks in companies. Like,
Uh-huh. And how I look at it too,
how does
like
that happen?
literally, this is going to be my worst point ever too. Like, because we're as time goes on, the cut of the pie gets even bigger and bigger, and that's when it's going to turn into 30-40K opportunity. So it's more of just a time game with this one. But yeah, what I've learned is just fluff and sales everywhere. Like ask and what's really cool about it too is obviously I don't like you're who you are and I'm who I am. So I take what I learned here and put my own spin on it too for my
Yeah,
student, right?
yeah,
So and obviously appointment setting, we're not gonna like get into objection handling and everything like that, but I see the fluff from all the thousands of sales reps that I train, and I'm like, holy crap, like this is not what you need, right? Like literally, you need these 4 things. Like for appointment setting calls, I tell everyone we need urgency, we need commitment, and we need to find resources if they have money, and that's really all we need because, like, if you're like future pacing on a setting call, you're consequently on a setting call, like you're not doing all this stuff. So what I learned is just a lot of fluff and sales from many different sales programs, just
yeah,
too much fluff. Also, at the same time, you realize why you're doing something, right? I just learned I look at other sales programs and everything's just so salesy. Like they just like they overpromise people these things.
mm,
And with the objection box, I learned that don't overpromise anything. You have to make them realize the only thing that dictates whether they get results or not for a
yeah,
B2C type of offer is
yeah,
themselves. And that's what changed the game, especially selling something that is the first investment for someone. Like our program is usually the first investment everyone's ever made. Like it's always going to be fear. And I think the objection box has given me the best fear framework, whatever word track you could ever want, or the reason why you're doing that
mhm,
ever. And it makes it so easy
yeah.
to close on offers like that.
Sure. I always tell people I under promise and over deliver. Yeah, I under promise and over deliver.
Mhm.
But I always tell people I at least W. We 10x'd Ahmed
Yeah.
in like 3 months.
Yeah, I remember when he came and he was
Yeah,
like, I
awful.
remember London Master. No, not even that, but
Yeah.
like he was just
He
like,
was awful. Just tell the truth. He was awful. He was.
I can't remember how he was, but I remember he
Jesus.
just asked a lot of questions. Now he's hitting 20K months, and I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, let's go. That's
Remember
awesome.
when he came to London? He was like, in the end, I was like, "Hey, buddy, you just have to stop asking questions,
Yeah,
buddy."
yeah, literally. See, that's what I'm thinking. Like nobody as a beginner could come to you because I don't think you would handle it.
No,
You
no way.
wouldn't want to do that.
No.
But you need to deal with people that are just trying to get to the next level.
Yeah, it's it there, and I think that's really important. You know why? Because I see a lot of business owners, coaches, trainers, consultants, whatever else in between. They like, let's just talk on sales. Um, they're too broad. meaning like I can help setters, I can help beginners, I can help people that want to get to 5K, but I can also help people that want to get to 50K. That range is just
Yeah,
big. You know what I mean? It's just too wide. I'm like, hey, if you're already making 5 to 7K, I will double you out.
I agree.
If you're a setter, don't want to talk to you. If you're a beginner, don't really want to talk to you. You got to have some experience. You have to have some element of understanding what you're doing. If you are that kind of space, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people just want to, you know, and I think it comes back down to fear. They want to just have as much as they possibly can because they're too afraid to niche down. A good friend of mine who was actually a business partner now of mine, actually, funny enough, he said to me, Bill, you just niche down and just own that space, you know. And I think that's what we do now. Very, very, I suppose, without sounding like my ego, I think we do own a fair chunk of that space. You know, I don't want to own all the space because I don't want to coach all the space. I can leave you guys coach all the beginners, all the people that want to fucking go from flipping bins to actually
Exactly. That's what fulfills me the most. Like I literally help my college friends I live with get onto offers and stuff like that, making whatever like 2, 3, 4 grand, but like that was better than working bartending, and they fucking love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the game. And then what'll happen is over time, they'll be like, okay, 6 months at 3K. How do I get to 10? Oh, I know. And that's just how the world works, you know. But the problem I see time and time again is people think that they can do it all. And then that's how people break their businesses because there's a great saying, a jack of all trades is a master of no trade. So tell me, yes, you learned fear frameworks and you learned different aspects of things. What else do you think is inside that has kind of really helped, I suppose? Now, you could tell me nothing. I don't know, but I want to ask.
Nothing, I can tell you nothing, but yeah, I mean, and Bill knows this too. I definitely could be more active, but obviously I have a lot, like just finished school, like all this stuff going on, but still doing very well. And like, I don't know this too, but like I'm literally closing like 90% on the one offer, right? So it's like, I know deep down, like, all right, like I'm going to move, like there will be a point where I'm selling something harder or that's bigger price ticket. So I need to get better too. But at the same time, like you're getting so much in there. Like there's weekly calls every single week. And like how I look at it too, like our whole thing is like, we don't like in the objection box specifically, like there is new stuff over and over again, or there's new stuff here and there, but it's more of like get down on the specifics and just practice it over and over and over again. It just made sales seem like the sport, if that makes sense. Like if I wanted to get good at basketball, like I don't need to be learning all these different dribble moves, or all these different dribble moves. I just need to learn these 3, 4, 5 different things and get really freaking good at it and do it over and over and over again. And that's helped me as a coach as well. So like just seeing how you guys operate the business has helped me as a coach as well.
How many times over the last 6 months have you heard people be like, oh, we're going through this again?
Yeah. And I do the same thing on my calls. I'm like, all right, we're not getting past this because you guys don't have it down yet. And why would I go and try to teach you objection handling when you're a setter?
Like, makes no sense. Yeah. And that's what I tell all the guys inside. I'm like, hey, if you just learn this, then you don't need anything else. I think that's a big issue with businesses as well, is they're constantly trying to, you know, reinvent themselves over and over and over and over again. You're like, the reason why you have to reinvent yourself over and over again because you weren't actually that good at what you said you were, in my opinion. You know, so I think that's really important too. Just learn the fundamentals. The fundamentals will always, you know, push you where you need to be. There's another
thing too, like every other closer I know, sales calls take 45 to an hour and a half. I'm like, no wonder why you run into your other calls. They no show, and then you just can't close deals. Like, you don't know what you need on a call. And that's the issue. Like, they'll ask all these I call them like dead end questions. Like, sometimes I ask my students, I'm like, okay, when you ask that question, what answer were you hoping to get? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, exactly. So don't ask it. And like what I see with a lot of other salespeople is that they ask that in the objection box. I learned exactly what we need. I'm not gonna go over everything, but it's like 5, 6 different things, and that's it. And then you can pitch. And then and then if there's no objections, you can close a deal in 25 or 30 minutes. If there's objections, we have a very short funnel of doing it, and you can get an objection or call with objection close in 30 to 35 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, I just looked at it because I was like, I'm going to be on this call. And it's exactly what you said. When I was not very good at objections and I wasn't very good at knowing what I needed out of sales calls, that's when it goes all the way up to you're pitching at 52 minutes.
Yeah.
And you know you got a call on the hour. And you're like, okay, well, I got to rush this now. And then I got to have, hopefully there's going to be no objections. Comes to 57 minutes, you get all the objections. You're like, well, I got 3 minutes now to do this. And I actually don't, because it takes at least 6 minutes to go through a process to take someone's payment, get them started, send them the agreement, send them the welcome email, write out the sales form. That easily takes 10 to 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I was looking at, I was like, okay, I need to get really good over here. And I need to understand what the fuck I'm doing. And I need to get really good at the objections. Because if I can do that, then I'm going to shorten everything up. And that's what it takes, and that's what it's understandable. But the only way you're going to do that, and it brings me back to what I was about to say, is there's a great quote by Bruce Lee, if I'm not mistaken. I'm afraid, I don't know what the terminology specifically is, but the premise is this: I'm afraid of the guy that practices one kick 10,000 times rather than the guy that practices 10,000 kicks one time. Mm-hmm. What that means to me is that you get so fucking good at knowing exactly what you need to do, is that everything else just makes sense. When you're driving your car, you don't have the same fear and insecurities that you once did when you started. The reason being is because you're doing it all day, every day. You're fucking training on it every day. You're understanding how to operate the car every single day. That's the key. People don't understand that. They're always looking for shinier things, newer offer, newer this, newer that. And it's like, no, you're an information junkie without implementing, understanding what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. I think, and I also want to say this too, the analogies themselves, and I learned in the objection box, have made me too much money just from analogies, and I think that's worth the investment on its own. And there's so much fun too. That's by far my favorite part of sales right now.
Well, people analogies.
Yeah, I don't know why. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from, to be quite honest. So it's like, I'm saying something to you, you don't understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, well, now I got to say it a different way so you do understand. And that's where I started telling stories. I started explaining different things in different ways, like what we just did with Kenny around speeding too fast and missing turnoffs. Because we all do that. We always do that from time to time. It's something that people can relate to, So let me ask you this: what does your brother do? I know your brother's in this world too. My brother's come in over the last couple of months, which I'm very proud of, and that fills me with a lot of joy. Mm-hmm. What does your brother do?
So he is an odd one in terms of business, but so his full source of income is sports cards, like baseball cards.
Oh, right.
So he does very well for himself in that. But he also is. I talked to them or talked to you about them before, but he does agency stuff as well. So they help scale info products and coaching programs and stuff like that. So him and his business partner do really, really well with that. Yeah. And he introduced me to the online business game. It's crazy. I know salespeople, and sometimes the biggest thing is not even skill set. It's finding the offers. Is by far the biggest thing for him. I've been so blessed with the shaking the hands and kissing the babies that I have done. I have in the past few weeks, I've turned down a 25K per month offer. I've turned down, the top closer is making 50K per month, and he's not very good. And offers like this, and just because I've had the network and been able to get in, but I turn them down because I know where I am right now. It's going to be more of a pleasurable place, but at the same time, it's going to be more than a sales rep there.
Yeah. Let me tell you this about network. I'll tell you this about network. You can have a great network, but if you don't produce.
Exactly.
So the biggest thing that I want people to understand, because some people will look at that and hear that and say, oh, I'm just going to work on my network. I'm just going to go and shake a load of hands. Let me be very transparent and very fucking honest with you guys. If you don't do what I need you to do, and you don't stand at the standards that I live my life by and my team do, I don't want to shake your hand. I don't want to be around you. Why? Because I'm giving something that I'll never get back, which is my time. So the only way you get to network with high individuals, business owners, coaches, consultants, trainers, whoever else that you want to network with, the only way you network with those types of people is you are what you say you are. and you do what you say you do. Because I guarantee you this, an 8 and 9 and 10 and a million and X and Y and all that kind of stuff, those guys, their network isn't people that flip burgers. Their network are people that are in their game, in their zone, and at a standard that like cut off. Like if you like, let's just be honest. Like if you work a 9 to 5, the likelihood of you being in my network to a place where I can actually help you is slim to none. But the reality is if you're in my network and you're a salesman and you're making, you know, you bring in 200 grand a year or 200 grand a month for a company, I know that I can help you. So it's not just about your network and shaking hands and kisses babies, as I always tell you guys. It's about getting your I suppose what you produce to a level that people actually want to fuck with you.
Exactly.
That's how it works. Because you don't get those opportunities if you're a setter.
Oh,
Like
honestly.
spoke about.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, no, because, and I was talking to you about this earlier. Like, there is a whole, I know, like the offers that like a lot of people in injection that's on is like, there's like a whole other side like Twitter where these 22-year-old kids making 400K a month. Like, those are my type. Those are my people, right? Like in terms of like those are people that I have connections with and everything like that. And the salespeople on those things, even though I'm not the best at what I can do, like I can 10 times get better. It's the skill set that I learned here makes me better than those type of people on those offers. And they're starstruck. They're like, holy hell, like where'd you learn this stuff? And then I'm sitting here in the objection box. I'm like, I'm not even the best one here. Like there's people running laps around me in terms of skill set. But the fact that I have access to those offers, so like get your skill set to the point where it's respectable and you've done stuff, obviously the best as possible, but and then I'll do both of them at the same time. I don't know where I was going with that, but
no, you have to do both of them, and that's absolutely understandable. You have to do both. You can't do one without the other, because what ends up happening, like happened Christian Jack today, he got a phone call to say, look, we're done, buddy. This is the game. The business owners made 10 million,
wait,
20
I thought he was
million,
crushing
whatever,
it this month.
and then they wrap. Huh?
I thought he's crushing it this month.
He is, but his business owner just called him up to say that he's finished. He's closing down the business.
Oh shit.
So that's why it's important that you do both. You have the skill set, but you also have, you know, that stuff that we talk about, which is shaking hands and kissing babies. You have to do both at the exact same time. But that's what I'm saying. Like you can't just rely on a good offer.
Mm-hmm.
You know? You can't just rely on something. You can't rely on anybody other than yourself in this game, because the only one that loves you the most is yourself, you know, because that's what's going to happen. Those kids that you're talking about, those 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds making X, Y, and Z, they're going to take all that money and they're going to say, they're going to do one or two things with it. They're going to blow it all, or they're going to reinvest it into something else, and then that becomes their thing. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. You know, they started off as an agency owner, then they built out a SaaS company, and then they took the liquid cash from the SaaS company, started buying apartment blocks, and now they're a property investor or whatever. You know what I mean? But people move with different things, and it's important that you are where you need to be, because people can just pull the plug and say, hey, I made 10 million over the last 5 years.
I don't want to work anymore.
Yeah. Correct. I'm done. I put 7 of it into an investment fund. I make 10% a year on it. I make 700K for doing bollocks all.
Mm-hmm.
You're done. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, why have the stress, the worry, the anxiety, the payroll, and X, Y, and Z? You've already won the game. You're already making 700K a year for doing fuck all. That's what I'm saying to you. So that's why it's important that people always protect themselves and always get into a good position. Like you know, you looked at the game, 20-year-old. I'm, like I said to you all the time, I'm fucking jealous of you. You're 10 years more advanced than I am. 10 years. I'm 31 in November. It took me, I was 28 before I knew that high ticket sales was a thing. You learned it out at 20 years of age. So your run rate is, you've got 10 years on me. So like, imagine just keep growing and developing and training and, you know, doing the right stuff. And yes, have a great time, but also prioritize the main thing. Because if you can do that, then at 30, you're retired if you want. Whereas I'll be 35 if I want to retire. You know what I mean? So you have all those years ahead of you, buddy. And I'm excited to see where and what you do with it all.
I appreciate that. So
let me ask you this. Someone in your position who has been around the block and started off as a seller, then started off learning sales, what do you think is the most important thing that person should do to kind of really grow and push on?
In terms of the one thing they should focus on being a sales rep, or just one thing in general if they wanted to learn sales?
Do both. Let's say you do both.
Okay.
Let's say you do both.
Okay. In terms of learn sales, it's like the gym. Like it's simple, but it's not easy. It is simple. Like you're gonna look for these offers. You're going to send 100 DMs a day. You're going to get an offer. You're going to close some deals, but it's not easy at all. Like you're going to be sitting at your desk for like hours a day. You're going to want to hurt yourself after getting objections that you can't handle. You're going to be very tired after you do $125 in a day and you get yelled at by this random guy. Like it's going to be hard, right? But it's just like anything. Like if you just give up, like how I look at it, I think sales is by far the simplest, not the easiest, but the way to change your whole life trajectory. Like how I look at it from the students I teach, like I had one of my sister's best friends, didn't know anything about sales. Her parents were kind of poor, like poorish, like not the best background, whatever. She came in, she learned, she got really lucky and got on a good offer and made 10K in her second one. And like her life just changed forever. And now she's doing like 10, 15 grand a month. And like her life changed forever. But what I'm saying is not everyone's going to be like that. But at the same time, like if you never commit to it and you never go full in, you just jump from thing to thing and you try to go start your own business, like start in sales, like whether you go to a coach or you don't, like start in sales, because now I know confidently with my skill set, I can go start another business whenever I do want to, because I've understood sales.
Yeah.
Now I get to see the marketing team. I get to see a bunch of different things, and it's going to be way easier.
Yeah. Because that's how you grew up. Like I didn't grow up with internet as per like you did. Like I didn't grow up when I was 20, the idea of having an online business was so far away from reality, you wouldn't even talk about it. Like that's like, and that's what it's done in 10 years. You know what I mean? So when I was 20, I didn't even know what a credit card was. You know what I mean? So like you guys are so much advanced, but that also comes with a negativity, because what you guys have now is, you know, not you, but other kids like that are 20, 18, like young guys, they got no patience. Yeah. They're always on to the next thing, whether that's crypto, whether that's trading, whether that's drop shipping, whether that's Amazon, whether that's sales, whether that's remote closing, whether that's fucking, you know, being a setter, whether that's building an agency, X, Y, and Z. So what would you say to those types of people? Because that's a good thing coming from you.
Yeah, it does blow my mind how quickly people give up. Like they'll be like I'll literally have people that pay to get into a program. They're just like, I sent like 10 DMs today. Like I can't. I'm like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? Like this isn't hard. Working in a coal mine is hard. Like, are you seriously calling this hard? But yeah, like it's just like anything. Like if again, it's simple, not easy, but just like a six pack. Like nobody would want it if it was super easy. So it's not gonna be easy. But if you do the same things over and over again, if you eat clean, you go to the gym, you train super, super hard every single day, you're going to lose the weight and you're going to gain muscle, right? So if you show up to the role plays, you train every single day, you learn new tactics, you do whatever, like you're going to get good and you're going to be rewarded for the things that you do. But if you never commit to something, like you're never going to do it, right? And I don't like, it's just the age that we're in that people just can't realize that. But like, if you just stuck with one thing for 6 months, like worst case scenario, at least you got good at that instead of bouncing from thing to thing every single week.
Correct. And as you know, because you started with us a couple of months ago, I say to all you guys, this is the standard. This is what you hit. You hit that, guys, I'll make you money. You hit that, guys, I'll take care of you. You hit that, guys, I will do all that I can to get you where you need to be. And if you don't hit that standard, you're going to make absolutely jack all. You know, and that's where it goes. And that's the reality. I've got all the guys, Joey, you know, Ahmed, yourself, like all young guys that just stayed the course, that just do the work. Sean Brady, another guy who's doing some big numbers now compared to where he was. Kenny, another good guy, young kid, started off in that world where he was fucking trading for 3 years and all this kind of stuff. You just stay the course, you do the work, you put in the time, the effort, the commitment, you get punched in the dick every day, every day you just get less punched. That's how it works.
Especially as a young kid, like you have nothing to lose. Like imagine if you're trying to do this when you were working a 9 to 5 and you have kids at home, like yourself. Like imagine trying to do a commission only job when you have kids at home sitting there. Like why not do it if you know about it? Why not do it when you're 18, 19 years old? Like you have no excuse.
Yeah, I had to take a commission only sales job because I had no other opportunity. I had nothing else. So thank God,
Yeah.
thank God for COVID.
Yeah.
COVID changed my life in the most positive way that I can ever imagine. So
Thank you.
yeah, all right, buddy. I appreciate the life, Eddie. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I have my eye on you guys. I see what you guys are doing. You're doing a lot for great people. You know, you're bringing a lot of people into this industry and helping a lot of people, which I absolutely respect and value. What's your last word of advice for people that are sitting on the fence in terms of the objection box, sitting on the fence in terms of what we actually do?
Yeah.
Yes, I got a lot of bravado. Yes, I speak with a lot of confidence. Yes, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. I don't want to be everyone's cup of tea. I always tell people, a lot of people want to be liked by everybody. I don't want to be liked by everybody. I want to be loved by few. So words of advice for people that were in your position or currently in your position that are sitting on the fence in terms of the objection box and what we do, what would you say?
I'm gonna get close to my mic for this one.
Oh shit, here we go.
But if you don't want to suck anymore, join. And deep down, I thought it was pretty decent as a setter, and then I just realized there was just so much stuff that I just didn't learn yet. And now coming back to the people that I was with before, and I kind of surpassed them and I lapped them. And there's where are you getting this from? I'm like, oh, here. And if you want to get good very quickly, again, it's not gonna be easy, but it's gonna be more simple. Join. How much are you disclosing your price on here or no?
What's that?
Are you disclosing? Is your price on your website or no?
You can tell. I don't give a shit, because they're gonna find out anyway. So
okay. So it's
16 now.
16. Okay, 16 now. Think about this. So I mean, you don't have to. I mean, do whatever you have to get in, whatever. But that 16 grand can be literally made back in 1 month if you get good enough. Like myself, I put my money from my rent money, and I came in February, or no, January, and
something
now
like February, January, yeah, something like that.
Exactly. And now I'm on a point where I think objection box, I pay because I'm on a different plan, I pay $1,000 a month. Literally, I make one sale, or I make 2 sales, and
I gotta change that. Actually, you're right.
yeah, and oops. But my coaching is paid for it. I'm like, all right, I'm getting better. And the reason why I'm able to close those 1 or 2 more sales is because of what I've invested into this and invested into myself. Right. If you're too scared to invest in yourself, you might not make it in this game. You're
not going to make it. That's the reality. You can't. This is the absolute truth. You're spot on, buddy. I don't really care. Whether you invest in this person, that person, this person over here, because they're always going to gravitate back to me anyway. That's just reality. You know, that's just the game. But the idea of thinking that you're going to get really good at this game by trying it on your own, it's not going to work. Because you think about it, right? If everyone is investing in coaching and getting better, and you're not, how are you ever going? The natural tendencies to be really good at sales aren't in everybody. They just aren't in everybody. They don't have the temperament. They don't have to handle difficult situations. They don't know how to ask better questions. They don't know actually what they're looking for in conversations. They don't know. So if you don't know, and people are investing in to know, then how are you ever going to beat those people? You just won't. So what will end up happening is either one or two things. You'll hit the jackpot and you'll get the most luck that you're ever going to get in your entire life, and you'll find a good offer that will just protect you. That's the first thing. Second thing is you're going to get so beaten up that you're going to keep losing your job. The third thing that will eventually happen is that you get so fucking broke, meaning that you lose all your money, that you're going to end up stopping what you're doing. That's the reality. That's either one of those three things that are going to happen. Now, how you get out of that is you get really, really good at what you're doing. whether that means that you work with me or you work with somebody else, at least fucking have the courage in yourself to want to do it. At least have the courage in yourself to even go out there and actually want to invest in yourself. Like, I invest in property. I didn't just say to myself, I'm just going to buy a random property somewhere. My coach has a net worth of over 50 million pounds. That's pounds. He has that amount of properties. That's what he's worth. And he doesn't come cheap, if you can imagine. Like, his time is worth thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds every time. Okay. I invested in him because I want the blueprint. I want to do what he does, and I want to have what he has had. I don't want some fella who's never ever bought a property in his entire life tell me how to buy a property. And that's who I am, because that's what I would be doing. I would be basically self-teaching myself how this game works. And the idea that I'm going to walk up, it'd be like this, right? It'd be like this. You want to be a Major League Baseball player.
I use this analogy every single day.
Oh, do you? Right, okay, there you go. It's like this.
Well,
you want to be a Major League Baseball player, right? You walk up, the fucking New York Yankees say, come and strike a ball. Let's see, can you hit it? The best fucking guy throws a 99 speed ball at you. The likelihood of you hitting this ball is probably 1 in a million. That's what's happening every time that people jump on a call. You know what I mean?
The one I always use, I'm like, all right, let's say
let's hear you on. Come on, let's flex.
Okay. So what's going to help you get better at basketball as soon as possible? You learning from LeBron James, who has obviously done what he's done in his career, and he's won multiple championships or whatever, or you just going to the court and start chucking up a bunch of half-court shots. Like, which one do you feel like is actually going to help you put you in the best position? And then they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And
it just makes sense. You're like, don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be an idiot, because if you say no, you're an idiot. But don't say no because you don't want to learn. Say no because you just don't have the investment, or you're just fearful. Like, you got to get to that level, you know. And that's, look, we can sit and talk for hours upon objections and X, Y, and Z. But like, the idea of you thinking that you're going to just make this on your own is just so far away from the truth. It's unheard of. It's like not even worth having a conversation on, you know. I've invested in myself. I invest all the time, you know, all the time in different things, in different coaches, and different people. Now I got to a stage, Kishan, where I don't actually invest in people. I'm just friends with people that are very. So, like, for argument's sake, Eli, I could ring Eli up like, hey buddy, what do you think it is? And you like sit with me for an hour and we just go through something, and then that's how it works. But that comes back to getting to a higher standard. Where people actually, now you're in their network. Now you're in the game. Now you're friends with people, because you've raised your standards, and your value that you offer to the market is sky high. You know what I mean?
100%.
If I was just a setter, I ain't ringing up fucking Cole Gordon saying, hey buddy, you got 2 minutes? He's still gonna are you out of your mind, man? How do you get my number?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't even make sense. It's like saying Dana White, hey Dana, I just started off in this amateur boxing ring. Do you want to come and see me fight? He's like,
absolutely not, buddy.
First off, kid, you haven't even punched the bag yet. You're probably going to break your wrist the first time you hit it. Get out of my life. How should you even get my number? That's what's going to happen. So that's the idea of you just network your way into X, Y, and Z. That's just the biggest rubbish I've ever heard in my life. All right, go make some money. Go do your thing. Go enjoy your new place. When did you move in there?
Last Tuesday. So it hasn't been a full week. We don't even have a couch yet, but we're gonna get a couch.
Shit, do you have a party yet?
No parties yet.
No parties yet. Who are you living with, can I ask?
It's Philip, the one I'm bringing to Austin.
Oh yeah.
He'll be in here soon.
2 OGs. Good. Next time I'm over, we'll have to connect.
I got you.
We'll have to come. Right, buddy. I appreciate the life out of you. Keep going, keep pushing, keep leading the way, which is what you are now. You're a leader. You're someone that people look to for value. So keep going, keep pushing, and I'm going to be with you every step of the way, buddy. All right. See ya. Thank you, guys. If you need any information, you want to learn about what we actually do, just give me a message. I or the team will jump in. We'll actually answer all your questions, give you everything you need, and then you just make your decision. That's how it works. All right. See you later. Adios. Bye-bye. See you, Kishan.